All right, so today we are going to be learning about the other special right triangle, which is 30, 60, 90. What did we learn yesterday? 45, 45, 90. Today we're doing 30, 60, 90, right? So everyone needs to have headphones out of our ears. Our heads need to be up. Phones need to be away. All other random devices need to be put away. Random candies need to be put away. Distractions and sleepyheads need to be put away. Everyone's focusing on right now. So let's do this. 30, 60, 90 is another special right triangle. Here we go. So you're looking at this packet. Again, 30, 60, 90 is different than 45, 45, 90. Guess what the angles of a 30, 60, 90 triangle are? 30, 60, and 90. Better than yesterday. Very good. So let's write this down. A 30, 60, 90 triangle can be formed from an equilateral triangle. Basically, you take an equilateral triangle, cut it in half. What does equilateral mean? All sides and all angles are equal. So let's fill in these blanks. The hypotenuse is twice as long, okay, or 2 times as long as the shorter leg. And the longer leg is square root of 3 times as long as the shorter leg. Let me show you what I mean. Right here I have an equilateral triangle, and I'm going to cut it in half straight down the middle. Okay? Now, let's see what you remember. What are the 3 angles of an equilateral triangle? What are they? 60. They have to all be the same because they're equilateral, right? And then, so they have to add up to 180, so they're 60, 60, 60. So I'm going to label that for the whole triangle. I got a 60 here, got a 60 here, and this whole angle right here is 60. What is this little half over here going to be? 30. And then down here, if this is a straight line, it makes what kind of angle? 90. Okay? So does everyone see that's a 30, 60, 90 on the left and technically on the right too? Okay? 2 30, 60, 90. So what we need to do is we're going to make a chart just like the last notes we did, but this time it's 30, 60, 90, and A is going to be our missing side for 30. So across from 30, I'm going to put an A right here. All right. Now you see how A is half of that bottom side? So that means that this side over here is going to be 2 of those A's. A plus A, which is twice or 2A. Okay. So again, across from 90 is 2A. And then this side right here is A times the square root of 3. So you're going to write A square root 3. Okay? So this is very similar to yesterday, just different triangle, different rules, same process, same way we're going to try to solve these. Let's look at number 1. Okay? First question is always, what kind of triangle is it? So what angles do you see on number 1? Right here? 90. What's over here? 30. 30 and 90. This has to be what over here? 60 to make it add up to 180. Right? So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Cool? So that's why you would, it's already there, but you would draw this chart and you would put 30, 60, 90. Now, what always goes on the second row? What do we have right here? A, square root of 3, and then 2, A. All right. Let's make that a little bit nicer. All right. Now, A square root of 3, and 2A. Now, if you remember from yesterday, we're going to figure out what side did they give us. So you tell me, which one of these sides is labeled? Across from 30, 5. Okay? So we know 5 is a side length, and we're going to put it under which column? Well, what is 5 across from? 30 degrees. Does everyone see that? So underneath 30, I'm going to put 5. Okay? So again, it's always the same steps. You identify what kind of triangle it is, right? And then you write your little chart, right? Fill in your chart. And the side they gave you, you're going to put into that chart. Now let's see what you remember from 24 hours ago. What do I need to write? Whoops. Right here, what do I do with this 5 and this A? Set them equal. Okay? I need an equation to figure out what A is. So again, wherever you put the side length you know, make that into an equation. So it's A equals 5. Now you tell me, A equals 5. Do I need to do any algebra? Do I need to solve that? It's done. So if A equals 5, I'm ready to fill these in. If A is 5, A squared of 3 is going to be what? 5 squared root of 3. If A is 5, 2A is 2 times 5. What's 2 times 5? 10. So I get 10. Okay? Now we want to get in the habit of answering the question. And the question is, what is X, what is Y? So X equals, let's think about this. What is X across from? 60. So look at 60. Whoops. Look at 60. What's below 60 right here? 5 square root of 3. And I'm going to make that look nicer if I can. So 5 square root of 3. And then Y equals, Y is across from what angle? 90. So 90 is 10. So that's the easier one. Could you, given the side across from 30, plug that in, get the answers? Okay? So let's try number 2. We're going to skip the try to use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so whoop. All right, so let's see what we remember. What do I always do first? Before we get to a chart, I need to know what kind of triangle is it? Is it 30, 60, 90? How do you know? Because it says 30, 60, and 90. So now we're going to do that chart. That hashtag. Cool. Now, 30, 60, 90. Let's fill it in. And what goes in the second row? What? What goes here? A. And then A square root of 3. And then 2A. All right. And by the way, I'll give you that information on like a formula chart. You just got to know how to use it, right? All right. So which side do we have? Across from 90, we have 22. So again, 22 is across from 90. So I'm going to put it underneath 90. Right? Now, what do I do with these two things? What do we learn? We set them equal. 2A equals 22. And I need to solve for this variable A. How do I get rid of this 2? It's a coefficient, right? Anytime we have a coefficient, we divide, right? All right? If you're on your phone, you should reconsider your life choices at this very moment. So, 22 divided by 2 is what? 11. Is that ready? Yeah. 8 equals 11. So underneath A, I'm going to put 11. And A square root of 3 is going to become what? 11 square root of 3. Ta-da! Now, X equals what? Now, X is across from what angle? What? 30. All right? X is across from 30. So, across from 30 is 11. Don't get those confused at the end. Do all that work for nothing. Y is across from what? 60. What's across from 60? 11 square root of 3. Is that doable? Okay. We have one more to do. It's the harder one, so I want you to be here. All right, so 1 and 2, you could do a problem given across from 30. You can do a problem given across from 90. Now the hard one is if it's across from 60. Look at number 3 on the next page. Okay. On the next page, is this a 30, 60, 90? There's 30, 60, 90. So I'm going to make my chart. $30, $60, $90. What do I put in the second row? Hey. And then what? Oh my gosh. Oh my. Hold on. Okay, sorry. A square root of 3, and then 2a. Now, ladies and gents, which side do I know? Which side do I know? Which side do I know? 15. Very good, very good. So 15 is across from what? 60. So underneath 60, I'm going to put 15. All right, and now, remind me, what do I do with these two things? Set them equal, okay? So I'm going to write a square root of 3 equal sign 15. Now, a is not by itself. How do I get rid of it being multiplied by a square root of 3? Okay, everyone remember, if there's a square root you're getting rid of, you're going to divide by that square root on both sides of your equation. Square roots are gone, and now we have a equals, but, like Miss Morrow said, the square root on the bottom is like cussing. We've got to stop. We've got to fix that. So how do I get rid of the square root on the bottom? You multiply by the same exact square root to remove the square root on the bottom and on the top. So let's do the top. 15 times square root of 3. A number and a square root being multiplied, they go right next to each other, okay? It'll become the coefficient. So 15 square root of 3 goes on top. And on the bottom, what's square root of 3 times square root of 3? Regular 3, okay? A square root times itself removes the square root. Everyone awake? Yeah. So, here's the dealio. 15 and 3, what can we do with that? We can reduce it, right? Or divide. So what's 15 divided by 3? 5 square root of 3. That's what a equals, okay? So, if a equals 5 square root of 3, what am I going to put under a here? 5 square root of 3. Now, think about this. 2a means 2 times, what's a? 5 square root of 3. What's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. Don't say that. Square root of 3. So 10 square root of 3. All right? So we got all of the chart filled out. We got to answer these questions. X is across from what angle? 30. So x is 5 square root of 3. 30, 5 square root of 3. Y is across from 90. So that's going to be 10 square root of 3. So if you have a whole number across from 60, it is a little bit more complicated, but you can do it. Kind of like yesterday when we had a whole number for the hypotenuse. Okay. Now, as for notes, we're going to skip 4 and 5, so you can kind of, just like yesterday, you're going to separate the notes from the assignment. And you're going to do, in this class, okay, you're going to do the front side. Pre-AP is going to do both sides, but, okay,